Hi everyone, it's V from Embers of Consciousness, and today we're gonna strip you down. Let's get naked. Not really, metaphorically speaking. So this came to me as a really cool download. Probably, it's actually like a year ago, but it's been really important and pivotal, and I just want to share it with you guys. So many of us are walking around with layers on. Layers. And what happens is, okay, let's go back. And I love the way Spirit brought this to me. At the time, I was really getting into backpacking. I still am, and I'm still learning, but I was really learning about layering for weather. And me being completely naive and novel to all of this was all like new information for me. So everything about like what kind of socks to wear, layering under your clothes, your flannels for nighttime, then the rain jacket for the wind, and all the layers, the beanie, just all the layers and layers and layers that go into being fully prepared to be out in the wilderness. So Spirit brought this message to me, and I have, for a lot of my life, had some things that manifested as symptoms of something deeper. Now, I can have a very addictive personality. I've used substances, particularly alcohol, to numb for a really long time. I also have had depression and anxiety, but a lot of depression and suicidal ideation around that. And so for the longest time, I just kind of thought, oh, I have depression. I have suicidal thoughts. I'm an addict. I'm an alcoholic. That's just what I am. That's what I innately am, and that's just what it's going to be. Well, I've been doing some big shifts and learning and growing and really addressing these things. And what I've come to discover is that those are just layers that have been added to me throughout my life. This took me a really long time, and why I'm sharing this with you and being pretty vulnerable and personal is that it really shifted something within me. Now, when I was identifying as those things, as depression, as suicide, as alcoholism, it kind of, in a way, took out the responsibility that I had for myself. Now, listen, I'm not a psychiatrist. No, mental illness is very real, and there are definitely tools and therapies and all kinds of modalities to address this. And the label and those things can be so important for some people to really understand and have a way to cope with this, right? But what I'm saying is that we cannot only look at those layers. So I got this download from Spirit. And it was basically that we are all born naked. We come out as little babes that are beautiful and pure souls that are just naked. And what's interesting is when we're babies, like that's acceptable, right? To show your flesh and just let Joseph hang out. Now, I'm not going to get into, there are things we bring in from past lives that, are layers. And that's a whole nother conversation. But let's just talk about this lifetime for the purpose of this video. So we're born, we're pure, we're our true, authentic selves, right? we grow up and we have different experiences. We have different upbringings. We have traumas happen. All of these factors, right? Maybe you were in a car accident. Maybe you were sexually abused. Maybe you had parents that were absent. It could be any of these things. Maybe you had a partner who was emotionally abusive or emotionally unavailable. So let's see. Every time one of those things happens in your life, every time, and these are small things. Someone made a mean comment to you when you were 5 on the playground and it made you feel small and insecure, to life-changing things like your spouse leaves you and cheats on you. All of these things are layers and they just keep building. So in my backpacking message that Spirit gave me, it was like, okay, you're all in your naked body, so you're ready to go backpacking, right? But then, oh, this happened to you. There's your bottom layer. There's your base layer. And then, oh, wow, that big life experience happened to you, and it added another layer, and another layer, and another, and another, and they just keep building and building. And what do? We tend to just look at the layers, the symptoms, the manifestations, right? So, oh, well, you have a problem with alcohol, so let's take the beanie off, figure out the alcohol problem. Okay, yeah, we do need to take the layer off. Let's address that. But then let's go deeper. Like, what happens when you take all those layers off? And I'm going to tell you, there's 2 things. One, you start to discover the root of it. For me, I'll tell you, I tried for years to address these layers, only the layers. I had multiple different things that were very eye-opening, including a almost fatal DUI car accident, wanting to not be here anymore on several occasions, numbing myself to blackout drunk often. And I would take the layer off for a second and be okay for a minute. But I never got down to the bare of what was going on until recently. And it's still a process. So it's not enough to just take off the layers. But the other important part, really the message from Spirit, was you're not your layers. You are not your layers. When we strip away all of these layers that served a purpose, right? Okay, going back to the backpacking analogy, that kept me warm. That kept me dry. It served its purpose in the moment. All of these tools, all of these mechanisms that we acquire, they serve a purpose. But we outgrow that, or they serve the wrong purpose. So once we can remove all of those layers, what is left? What is left? It's just you. It's just you. Your pure, beautiful self, soul. So if you are wondering if you're broken, or if you are defining yourself from one of your layers that you have on, take that shit off. Take it off. Because that's not who you are. I'm not depression. I'm not suicide. Yes, those things can be identified and can help me have a frame of reference to getting the tools that I need, but they are not a part of my body. They're not a part of me. They are just something that was put on for a need as a result of things that I experienced. So it's my belief that we should all strive to get down to our bare, naked, beautiful bodies that we came into this world with, metaphorically speaking, or not. You do you. But I really I want to tell you, in case no one's told you, in case you don't believe it, I'm going to believe it for you. I'm going to hold this for you if you can't hold it for yourself. You are perfect. You are beautiful. You are exactly who you are supposed to be. You just got to take that shit off. And if you don't know how, reach out. All right, friends, please like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, you know, the spiel, and sending you so much love and light.